West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
I forgot there was a show going on today, you know. I was in the bathroom. Listen, in the last 3 weeks, don't know if any of you who own a property, you know when like one thing mashes up in your property, it's like it starts a chain reaction of bare things mashing up. My head has been in a tailspin for the last 3 weeks. Pure things mashing up in my house. Had to get a new shower screen today. I had to do new sealants round the bath. My toilet was leaking. It flooded the floor. Floorboards looking mad out here. I got because of the damp, little of them little black flies started to turn up. I've been waging war on them flies. I bought one of them electric fly zapping machines. Now the plumber's saying I need a dehumidifier. It's mad out here. Pure stress on my head top. Pure stress on my head top. I'm fam. But you see, buying your own property is a myth. It's an absolute myth. Obviously, you have to get a property, you know, and leave it for your future generation. And this, that. But fam. Anyways, my name's Machel, St. Patrick here at one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. We're back for another live show. I'm drinking a ginger and turmeric tea to soothe my soul, soothe my headache. The smell of the sealant in the bathroom. I just got to drink this ginger and turmeric, you know, and settle my nerves. Wednesday was the day of L's. Ireland smashed us by 124 runs. England smashed us by 8 wickets with 21 balls to spare. South Africa smashed us by 40-something runs. Wednesday was the day of L's in West Indies cricket. But Santoki's up. Santoki's up because he supports Spurs and Spurs won the Europa League. There's a couple of you lot who are in the live right now who are Manchester United fans and West Indies fans. If you're a Manchester United fan and a West Indies fan, you are down rotten. 2 great historic franchises down rotten. I recorded a podcast earlier on Adif's channel. I think it's called Cricket Sickles. You'll see it come out soon. And he asked me a question on it where he said, why do you think, his question was, why do you think fans from other countries don't understand how West Indies have come to this? Why do you think they are always so keen to say things like, West Indies, they've turned a corner and this, that. And this was the analogy I gave him. Look in for this, people. I thought this was a brilliant analogy. I said that West Indies are the Manchester United of football. Current, like where Manchester United are right now. And hear me out for the explanation I gave. Manchester United are about to end 17th in the Premier League. They just lost the Europa League final to Spurs, right? This is a down, rotten season for them. Down horrendous. But here's the thing. They've had successive managers since the Alex Ferguson heydays, right? So Alex Ferguson, obviously legendary managers, bare Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, Club Cups, whatever. So Alex Ferguson and Manchester United, the heydays. After Ferguson left, they've had successive managers who have tried to bring back the heydays but can't. Moyes, Mourinho was all right for a bit, to be fair. Moyes, Mourinho, Solskjaer, it's currently Amorim, Ranić even. I'm probably missing someone, right? So they've had all these managers who are down horrendous, right? And haven't been able to bring back the glory days of Van Gaal, haven't been able to bring back the glory days of Manchester United. But Manchester United ending 17th this season didn't happen overnight. Lock in for this analogy I'm giving you. Manchester United finishing 17th didn't happen overnight. So when they end this season in 17th, Manchester United fans shouldn't be going, how has it come to this? They've been knowing that it's been coming to this, because the decline and fall off since Alex Ferguson has been gradual but sure, right? Similarly, when the West Indies were champions of the world up to the 1990s, once all the GOATs disappeared, the decline has been gradual but sure. You don't just end up in 17th place in the Premier League. That's just a decline slowly but surely over time, like mission creep, like when my toilet was leaking one drop at a time, and then by the time I noticed, the whole floor was soaked, right? So when we look at West Indies, there's no one moment where you go, and that's why we turned shit. It's been a gradually slow but sure decline over 25, 30 years. So when opposition fans look at Manchester United and when opposition fans look at the West Indies, they often pivot to like these short, glib statements where they're like, how did it come to this? Even Manchester United fans and West Indies fans look at their own team and go, how did it come to this? But if you'd been paying attention, it's been coming to this. This isn't a standalone moment in time. This is just the natural decline and the natural order of things. And the only time Manchester United will get good again, similar to West Indies, is when their own fans and administration, similar to West Indies, accept that we are shit and we've got to rip up this whole thing and just go again. You know how like some Manchester United fans, I'm probably stretching the analogy now, but you know how like some Manchester United fans, some of them, not the deluded ones, look at their team and just go, these players are obviously shit and we can't go anywhere with these set of players. It's similar to the West Indies fans. Like every now and again, Manchester United will throw in a catfish performance and people go, oh, maybe they're turning a corner. Like when they beat who did they beat when they beat Lyon, when they scored those late goals in the quarterfinal and then they lenged down Bilbao, there would have been people going, oh, maybe they're going to turn a corner. They're destined to win the Europa League. Stop catfishing yourself. Stop catfishing. I catfished myself in the first ODI against Ireland. More fool me. I'm supposed to know by now, oh, yeah, we're shit. Why did I allow myself to get catfished? We all need to take lessons in this. Like, that doesn't mean that I'm hating on the team and all of this, all of that, but I just have to accept, oh, yeah, we're shit. And like, when these defeats come, there's no point in taking it personally. I have to go back to my mantra. Always expect us to lose and be pleasantly surprised when we don't. And as long as that's your mindset when you watch the West Indies, none of these defeats can matter and hurt you because you're just like, oh, yeah, because, oh, yeah, we're shit though, aren't we? I ain't got no answers for anyone. The second ODI starts tomorrow. So we got Ireland in the second ODI tomorrow. I fly out on Saturday. By the time I fly out, the series could be done. But then maybe that's a good thing because maybe when I fly out for the game on Sunday, I might see the one win. I might get to see the one win of the series. Imagine. What does it say about our away record though? Lost 3-0 in Australia, lost 2-1 in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka obviously put conditions in place that favour them. Is it maybe we're all right? Maybe we're all right, but once we're out of our comfort zone, we're shit. Maybe can we say that about the ODI team? But again, this is the team that didn't even qualify for the last World Cup, cuz. I don't even... You know when you just run out of answers? Like, I don't have no answers, cuz. We're like, would you? Man, a shit, cuz. These are... These men are shit. I'm not putting in the link for the call in until we get to 150 in the live, by the way. There's a new thing, there's a new function on check this out. It's not even that big. So StreamYard have a new function where I can display the live comments as they happen. Let me see. Let me make the screen bigger, see if I can see it. Yeah, so rather than me bring up the points, your points are just on the screen. I'm going to try that for today. So I'm not even going to bring up the best points. You can just see them on the screen yourself. But the problem with me leaving it like this is some of you write pure flipping nonsense on the screen. So if I start to see some mad comments, I'm taking it off the screen. But how's that? What do you think about that feature, people? People's live comments just going on the screen as we're talking. Is that better? Is that better? I like it personally. I like it. Some of the kids at my school have found the podcast. Imagine. They don't even like cricket. On Tuesday, a couple of students came up to me and was like, you're the host of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Jaja. I had to act like I didn't know what they were talking about. I was like, you what? I was like, what? Cricket? I said, what's cricket? They're like, nah, we saw you came up on our algorithm. Like, you talk about West Indies cricket. I said, huh? I said, West Indies cricket? I looked them in their eye and I went, do I look like somebody who would watch West Indies cricket? They're rubbish. Like Peter. Like Pete. Is it Peter? Is it Peter who denied Jesus? Who denied Jesus 3 times? I denied West Indies 3 times to the students. They were like, no, it was you. I was like, no, that weren't me. I don't know West Indies. I don't know of them. No, it was you, sir. The person had your same hairstyle. I don't know who West Indies are. I denied the existence of West Indies 3 times before the cock crowed. It was foretold. I denied them 3 times. I said, no, not me. I said, never can these kids shame me. It's not me. $132 of you. 132 of you in the live. I'm not putting the link in for the call-in show till it reaches 150. It's 10:26. The thing is, I've actually got to finish planning this lesson. I'm currently planning a lesson on we're looking at the difference between individualist anarchists and collectivist anarchists. So we're looking at the political ideology of anarchism. I've got to teach these 6th formers about the difference in the strands of anarchism. Anarchism is not anarchy, you see. It's not anarchy. Some people often think that the political ideology of anarchism is the same as anarchy. Anarchy is chaos. Anarchism, when you actually study anarchism, it's not about chaos. It's not about chaos at all, but it is about being free of the constraints of the state. What, you lot don't know that I teach? You lot don't know about Professor Hewitt? Come on, man. I'm outside, you know. I'm outside. I'm outside teaching politics. I'm outside doing podcasts. I'm outside flying to Ireland. I'm outside. I'm really outside. 135 of you in the live. No link until we get to 140. In fact, no link till we get to 150. So, do any of you lot know? Do any of you lot know Rising Bowler? So you can see in the chat right now, Rising Bowler's put a link there. If you don't follow Rising Bowler, people, follow Rising Bowler. He's the last West Indian diaspora fan left remaining. If Rising Bowler doesn't have any offspring, he will be the last recorded diaspora West Indian fan to ever live. Right? So he has his own channel, right? And he's like, obviously he lives over here. I know him and his dad really well. They're in Ireland at the moment. So they flew over. I think they flew over on Wednesday and landed in time to watch the first down bad game. Like, their love for West Indies cricket is huge, right? So Rising Bowler, really, like, him and his dad, really good peoples, yeah. So his dad's a bad man, though. His dad's a really bad man because his dad knows that West Indies suck, and he's forcing it on his youth. He's forcing it on Rising Bowler to have to support West Indies to carry the hope of the next generation. Like when the fossil hits the planet and we're all wiped out, and like Rising Bowler and his generation are left. Rising Bowler's going to have to like travel the seas and travel the lands, telling people about the team called West Indies that once existed. He's the last of our kind. He'll carry the hopes of a generation on his shoulders. You lot ever seen have you lot ever seen the Book of Eli with Denzel Washington? That's what Rising Bowler is going to be. If you've not seen that film, go watch it. So Denzel Washington's blind, and he's the last person. So it's like post-apocalyptic, and he's got the last ever copy of the Bible in his hands, but it's in Braille. You don't find that out till later on in the film. Sorry for giving away the spoiler. And the whole point of the Book of Eli is that Denzel is this like blind wanderer is trying to deliver this Braille copy of the Bible to the new civilization, where civilization can start all over again. That's what Rising Bowler is going to have to do. Rising Bowler is going to carry the last hopes of West Indies cricket. When all is said and done, he's going to have to be the one who reignites the whole thing from scratch, telling people about a long time when West Indies were great. You see, when the old generation die out, right? No disrespect to you lot, but whoever's old in this. But when the old generation die out, there's no one left to tell the tales, There's no one left to tell the tales of West Indies cricket. Because my generation, I'm one tier under the uncle generation. And my generation don't care. So and then the generation under me, they really don't care. So we're gonna get in about 30, I reckon in about 30 years' time, there'll be no West Indies fans left. I reckon. I give it 30 years. If the team doesn't start learning how to win cricket matches, I reckon in 30 years' time, there'll be no West Indies fans left. There'll be like the odd one or two. Like when you go into the Amazon and you see them like Amazonian people with like the penis hanging out and stuff. That's gonna be like when you find a rare West Indian van. Them ones with like the paint on them and like the willies just hanging out for no reason. That's what it's gonna be like when you find a West Indian van in 30 years. You're like, rah, what's that? Is that a West Indies fan? Rah. Why is he outside on the mains like that? That's what it's gonna be like in 30 years' time. Willie out and everything. I need to be stopped, I need to be stopped. God. All right, someone just lock off this show, man. Because if you leave me on this show, I'll just start talking reckless for no reason, Right, this ain't even a podcast. This is actually just a comedy show. I just run a comedy show. Caribbean Cricket Podcast is actually just a comedy show. When I run these live shows, it's pure comedy I'm on. So I'm gonna let me put the link in the thing. What? Hold on 1 second. There we go. Right, here we go. Yeah. Okay, links in the chat. 158 if you're in the live. The trigger point has been reached. So link in the chat. Let's get moving. Boy. Right, so this show can't go long today, though, people. On a serious note, I actually need to finish planning this lesson. Okay, collectivist. Hold on. Oh my God. Okay, collectivist. Yeah, I need to. Okay, 1 second, people. Order. Judger. Collectivist. Yeah, collectivist anarchism. I need to go finish off planning that bit of the lesson. Once I've finished planning that, then I'm going to my bed. So you lot need to allow me. You need to allow me and let me get to bed by 11 o'clock so I can finish planning my lesson. Or for this episode, so I can finish planning the lesson, go to bed by 11:30. Demo says only 17 likes. Yeah, come on, people, like up the thing, man. Like up the thing. I've been doing up comedy for 17 likes. Okay, anyways, let's go. Jacob is up first. Windy Fanatic says fire Sammy. Are we there already? That didn't take long. Oh, got there quick. Okay. Right, let's go. Jacob's up first. Who's in the background? Okay, cool.
Good. Well, afternoon for me, evening for night for you.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrendous.
Which
I don't
one?
know what else to say. The Ireland match, I thought in particular, was horrendous. Just getting dominated by a side that was losing all its bowlers, and that is not good. Ireland is not a good team. I follow Irish cricket, big fan of Irish cricket too, and Ireland is more in a worse place than West Indies is right now, arguably. Their batting isn't, but they have no bowling, generally. The bowling's not very good. And to fall apart like that, I don't have words. I thought West Indies was pretty comfortably, I wouldn't say comfortably, but I thought they would win the series, probably 3-0. And I was certain of that after all the injuries came out. Mark Adair, their best bowler, out. Like one of their few bowlers who I think is genuinely international quality. And it speaks to just the level West Indies is at now. I'm not going to say we, because I'm not West Indian, but like the West Indies team is essentially an associate side with test status, like Ireland, like Zimbabwe, like Bangladesh, arguably. And what's more embarrassing about it is they're losing to associate sides while having so many more resources. Like Netherlands, they don't have anything. Ireland barely have a fraction of what West Indies has in terms of money and revenue. And it speaks to a fundamental problem with West Indies cricket. And I was talking earlier in the Discord about how I think we need to stop using the term reform the system. We need to start talking about replacing the system. Because the system clearly isn't working. West Indian system hasn't produced an international quality batter since Chris Gale, probably. You know, there's been some guys who are okay, but I think Chris Gale will be the last guy to average over 40, correct?
In Test cricket, yeah.
Yeah, and Darren Bravo too was. I rated him. He was done so unfairly, but at this point, like West Indian cricket, if it doesn't find a new system, is going to die out. I mean, it's in a bleak position, and I think one of the ways we can't rely on the ICC anymore. Associate teams, the smaller full members cannot rely on the ICC anymore, and I think they're going to have to stop looking at each other with this insular mindset and have all these lower ranked teams try and pool their resources together to get better together. Part of the problem with global cricket is nobody runs it. It's a bunch of individual boards fighting for themselves. Nobody's in charge. If anybody's in charge, it's India, but even they don't have as much power as a board who actually runs the global sport would have, you'd expect. So, I mean, we're at that point where just Zimbabwe, Ireland, Bangladesh are going to have to start thinking about, maybe not Bangladesh, but probably Afghanistan too, even though they're actually a good team, but they don't have the resources of teams above them, have to start thinking about banding together. And the higher associates, maybe even all the associates. What I mean as an example is having exchange between top level talents in each of your first class tournaments. Like get the best Zimbabwean, Irish first class and test players, get their best red ball players in each of those countries to play in the West Indian system. Have the same in Zimbabwe. Things like that, because cricket in these countries is in crisis. In Ireland, the sport is barely existent.
What you just
Zimbabwe, it's
described,
there.
what you just described, can that make money?
I don't know how it makes money. That's the thing. I mean, you would have to rely on each board taking their revenues from the India, the England tours, and putting them into something like that, putting them into the system. And which is hard because they need that revenue to actually host matches, host tournaments. But there's a, it's a catch-22. Whatever you do, you're screwed in a way. And it's bleak, and without a change in the ICC and without a change in the way these lower ranked test teams and higher ranked associates think, it's not going to improve. I would think something like that could be a start. Is because each other system is broken. Maybe you can take the parts of each system and combine them into something that works. It's an idea, but I'm very pessimistic right now.
The thing is, normally I'd try and say something, but I've got nothing. I've got nothing, and I almost feel that sometimes, and you know what, I'm not going to say anything, Jacob. I think for today's episode, I'm just going to let everyone who wants to talk just say what they want to say, because actually I don't have any answers. I don't, because even if I agreed with you and said, yeah, we should do that, I still we can't produce any good players. So I'm just like, yeah, but
I don't know. I'm at the point where I think even in a fantasy land, I don't think there's a solution anymore. I think I'm coming to accept that even my ideas of pooling first class resources together, pooling red ball resources together, pooling what little revenue they have together, I still don't think it'll work. I don't know. I think it's worth trying if it can be found to be feasible, but it's like, will it work? Probably not.
Listen, I'll just go back to what I've. Let's just say in a fantasy world, what's currently happening in the domestic system back home continues, right? And I'm more specifically relating it to the academy. Let's talk about the academy, right? Let's assume that the academy is a good thing. The only possible green shoots of hope that I see is that by the time the players who are in the academy, so take your Teddy Bishop, I'm not even saying those players are really good, but let's just take them. Kevin Wickham, Teddy Bishop, Akeem Geese, anyone who comes up through the academy, Johan Lane. Johan Lane already at the age of 20 has probably played more games than Kavem Hodge and that lot had played at the age of 20. Yeah. So there's an outside chance that because these young academy guys, and let's take the best of those academy guys, because they've actually had a structured grounding, there's an outside chance that leads to a team that has some kind of cohesive structured ability when they all hit around 26, 27, etc. Because their 26, 27 will be so much more further advanced than everybody else who hits 26, 27. That's an outside chance.
Yeah, at the under 19 level, the gap it's there, but it's not as huge. So there are people who are talented. We just don't have the ways to turn those people who are highly qualified youth players into highly qualified international players. Like looking at the Zimbabwe test, Richard Ngarava is not is a phenomenally talented bowler. He's tall, he's left arm, he's reasonably quick, and he can be reasonably accurate. And because he plays loads of white ball matches, he's a good white ball bowler. He's an international quality white ball bowler, but he doesn't play red ball matches. Zimbabwe plays very few tests. This is a year where thankfully that's changing for them, but he just doesn't play red ball cricket, so he doesn't have the skills he should have. There's also not anybody there to teach him. There's nobody to teach him. There's no qualified coaches. There's no qualified players anymore. This is why, the Zimbabwe team has almost 40-year-old captain, because he's one of the few guys who's been there and done it. So I think Raza is thinking about playing till the 2027 World Cup. He's almost 40. He's been there. He's done it. Same thing with Sean Williams. He's been there. He's done it. West Indies doesn't have that. There are advantages the West Indies has over Zimbabwe, But they don't even have that. There's who is a experienced head that, I don't know, Shamar Joseph can look up to. He has Kemar Roach, but they're very different bowlers. There's one guy. There's one guy in the entire system. So what if you're a talented class player, say, talented first class bowler in Leewards? Who's going to mentor you? You're going to have to go to the academy, which is why the academy is a great idea, but it's a band-aid solution. The thing is, like India, Australia, England, they have these people in like most of their first class teams. They have them in their A teams. They have them in their international teams. There's so many people who have been there, who have done it. May not be the best players, but they're experienced and they can teach people. I think one of the reasons that like England fast bowling hasn't fallen off a cliff was actually that James Anderson was there for a while to help mentor these younger bowlers. And that they have people in the first class system to do that. There's just nobody there in the first class system in West Indies, in Ireland, in Zimbabwe. Well, Zimbabwe, and like you know, it's very hard to find a way to get these talented youngsters to have the same development that other countries have. Like, it's why the drop off in batting is so much further than the drop off in bowling in the West Indies.
Well,
Because
to be fair,
you know,
the West Indies Academy side is about to play 3 ODIs and three 50 over matches and 2 4-day matches against Sri Lanka emerging teams. So again, to me, that's further evidence of the fact that they're getting a better grounding than previous generations are. But
it's a start.
It's a start. But the thing is, here's the thing, right? And this is the final thing I'm going to say, because there's other people that need to come on. But here's the thing I'm going to say, and I will always maintain this, and this goes for anybody who's in the live light right now and anyone who's watching on replay. There is no silver bullet for West Indies cricket. Nope. And we talk and say this and we can say that. There is no silver bullet. And that's why when people were talking themselves till they're blue in their face about Roston Chase being captain is actually irrelevant, because that ain't a silver bullet. Just like anybody else being captain wasn't a silver bullet either. So all we can do, unless the academy comes good, which is what I'm pinning my hopes on, which is about 5 years away minimum, unless that group of players and any of them ones that come up behind them are actually any good from this structured system, we have at least, at the bare minimum, we have another 5 years of L's at the bare minimum to take. So just lock in for it. We got another 5 years, and after that 5 years, I make that 35 years of L's that I would have seen. 35 years of straight L's. So it is what it is. Anyways, Jacob, listen, I'm moving on because I'm seeing people in the background, and I know what they're like. They're going to think that I'm staying up past a certain time. It's not happening.
All right, take care, Mash.
Yeah, cool. Take care. Yes, people, moving on. Anyone who's in the background who's coming on, listen, seriously, I have to go to bed. No, sorry, don't have to go to bed. I have to do my work, and then I have to go to bed. Yeah, let's move on. It's a good question here from Charlie, though. We all know the system is defunct, but do we actually have the talent? This is my thing. How many players actually are good? Like, people gas themselves. Like, the easiest way to tell a West Indian fan who don't know what they're talking about is when they gas up a player. Like, they're like, I've told you lot before, you can't even take all the players in the Caribbean, and you can't create a squad of 15 that's good. And bear in mind, my version of good is different. Okay, so just to clarify, when I say good, I mean, right, so let's look at it like this. An average player in the England side, let's just take England because they're playing a test match right now against Zimbabwe. An average player in the England side who England cricket fans would look at and go, we're not even sure about him, would be Ollie Pope, right? There are England fans who would look at Ollie Pope and go, I'm not even sure about him right now. And that's their I'm not sure about him guy. We can't even find 15 players that are on Ollie Pope's level. Facts. I'm not asking any of you. I'm telling you, we can't find 15 Ollie Popes in the Caribbean right now. And some England fans think Ollie Pope's shit. That's the levels. That's the levels that I'm talking about. We don't even have 15 Ollie Popes. So exactly. So this is what I thought would happen. So Hammerhead is saying Ollie Pope is class. There are bare England fans who don't agree with that. Don't get gassed up by his 100 and whatever he scored today, you know. Don't get gassed up by that. I'm just saying, I'm not even sure we got 3 Ollie Popes, much less. And then I'm talking about the whole Caribbean, you know, the whole Caribbean. Anyways, let's move on. Oh, sorry, there was a super chat. I didn't even see it. Big up, Kev. Thank you, Kev, for the super chat. He says you'll need these beers watching in Ireland. Kev has sent me a super chat to say, go drown your sorrows. Do you know what? Thank you, by the way, Kev. I really appreciate it. I don't drink Guinness. These Irishmen telling me to make sure I drink some Guinness when I'm out there. I don't even drink Guinness. Yeah. Unless you can find me a flavored Guinness. You know, like how you've got like sorrel red stripe. For me to drink Guinness, it would have to be like a flavored Guinness. Irish, anyone who's Irish, any flavored Guinness out there, let me know, and I might touch that on Saturday night. Anyways, let's move on. Zashawn is up next. Yes, Zashawn, how you doing? You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good.
Sorry, bro. Hey, man. So listen. Okay, yeah. Today's performance was horrific. It was really, really bad. Very disheartening. West Indies simply just didn't show up. They just. Yeah. But part of the reason. But here, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Okay, I'm going to be the positive guy. All right. Listen, they were just rusty. They came undercooked, underprepared. They haven't played ODIs in forever. And yes, that does sound like an excuse. But it's
no, also, I accept that. I think that's a valid argument.
Right. I would judge the West Indies team much more on the second and third ODI. Okay. This is the first ODI. They simply didn't turn up. We need if they put up a similar performance in the second ODI, then you guys can cuss them out all you want. But right now, I think we should just hold back a little bit. Okay. I know it's very, very bad what they did today, but like I said, they're very undercooked. This is their first game in a while. And I wanted to address what the previous caller was talking about the batters and stuff. Like, we haven't produced any good batters. But the problem is, you also there's a caveat that batting has become a lot more difficult in Test cricket in the last 5-6 years for all teams. You know, averages have gone down, like you said many times, Mash. Like, I'm not saying West Indies have good batters. I'm not. But or they're as good as they used to be. But what I'm saying is batting has become a lot more difficult in Test cricket in general. Like, for whatever reason, the pitches have gotten spicier, whatever. And the thing is so that's point number one. And another thing about what is West Indies doing to develop cricketers just like other countries, well, there are steps being taken. First of all, like you said yourself, more A-team cricket. It wasn't there in the past. There's at least 2 tours a year. The youth cricket isn't so bad. The under-19 West Indies team did pretty well in the last World Cup, under-19 World Cup. I thought they did okay. They were competitive. There was some talent there. So the fact is there is some youth coming through. There is talent coming through. We saw some youth perform in the 4-day competition. And we went over this in the past, that there were several young players who performed very well in the 4-day competition. I'm not going to go through it again, but we went through it already. But there were several of them. So also the West Indies Cricket Board, or the Cricket West Indies, has done a good job developing their marketing a little bit. I think they've improved their marketing. Like,
I agree with that, actually. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Look at the full energy campaign that they're doing for this home summer. That never existed before. Where there was actually a promotion, like a theme for the West Indies home season. Like, this theme is the full energy, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they're trying to get crowds to come out. They're getting kids in for free. They're trying to really market this big test series coming up against Australia. And another thing is, like, when we're criticizing West Indies and stuff, which format are we talking about exactly?
Right. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, so in fairness, the one thing I didn't say to Jacob, which I should have said, but I didn't. So when Jacob said we haven't had a batter who's been any good, you have to always specify the format. Because Test cricket, correct. But if we then say ODIs, well, actually, Shea Hope probably gets into every team in the world. So,
Exactly.
and then in older T20s, Puran probably gets into every team in the world. So
Right.
we do have to break it down. We can say collectively that there's a big issue, but there's the odd player here and there in different formats where you can go, well, actually, they're actually recognized around the world as being good.
Right. Well, let me tell you something. Like, okay, if we look at just T20s and we're talking about how crap West Indies are and how much they declined and how much, the future generations are not going to support them. Well, didn't they make it to number 3 in the world in T20s? They were on the verge of making the semis. They were a hair away from making the semis. They would have played Afghanistan in the semis, and they probably would have made the final against India playing Afghanistan in the semis. So, because Afghanistan were like, they can't play spin that well, and so what I was telling you is that this West Indies team has tremendous talent in the T20.
Who just froze there? Is this me or does the Sean? Who's frozen, people? Am I talking into the ether? Who is frozen? Someone tell me in the comments right now. Am I frozen? Or is the Sean? Who? Am I down bad? Okay. So Sean's frozen. So I'll have to bring him back. He'll have to sign in again. You see why the Sean got frozen? Because he was talking too positive. And the Lord of the Catfish just said, you know what, I'm gonna have to just freeze this guy right now. He was getting on too positive about West Indies cricket. He was trying to make us believe again. Right, okay. Fireball is up next. Let's move straight on. Yes, Fireball, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mash. I'm doing good.
Yes.
We talking big up a T20 side. We lost 3-0 to Bangladesh. Bangladesh last series we played, Who lost to the UAE yesterday, by the way? Who lost to the UAE? Picking up the T20 side. So I thought that bring us back down to that one.
I should also point out, which I didn't say earlier on, Ireland lost an ODI series to Zimbabwe 3 months ago, right?
Yep.
I'm not saying that Zimbabwe getting beat down from England in Test is the same as them in ODIs, but I think it's things like this where you really have to put things in perspective and say, like, I think you and I have spoken about this before, Fireball. When there was all that talk and Santoki and I did the episode on it, I genuinely believe we are a Division 2 side. And this is why I've always been in support of two-tier cricket, because if Ireland are beating you by 124 runs, you need to learn to beat the likes of Ireland before you should be playing other teams talking about you're a full member nation. Like, we need to, I don't know, man.
We need to humble ourselves.
Yeah, we need to humble ourselves.
I don't know why West Indies. I think Ireland would have been open for it. I don't know why we didn't play a one-off test against Ireland. I think Ireland would have been more than open for it.
We should be glad that we never have to play Ireland in a test, because I think they might beat us,
They might have beat us in their conditions too. That would have been
in their conditions, I would not be confident. But what else was on your mind?
Holder right now must be laughing. He's not this. Puran must be thanking the Lord Jesus Christ. He basically retired from ODIs. This is just disgraceful.
And the thing is, so Holder has his Major League Cricket deal with LA Knight Riders, which Major League Cricket clashes with the Australia Test Series. So you have to assume that he's not involved in the Test Series, right? Now, what I find interesting is if by the time Australia turn up and the only white ball player that Sammy convinced to come across the Test cricket, like if that squad is named and the only different name in that squad from what we've seen before is Roston Chase, then Sammy catfished us,
Yeah. You see, get excited he brought Roston Chase,
People are talking. Thing is, I've got nothing against Roston, but I've been really surprised by some people in the media and on the kind of like YouTube shows really talking up Roston as if, yeah, we've got Roston Chase back. And this is no disrespect to Roston Chase, but what does that say about where we have fallen to, where people are saying, yeah, we're moving forward now. This is a good, like Mia Motley. Obviously, the Bayesian's now going to get upset because I'm not praising Mia. Because every time you bring up Mia Motley's name, people act like you must praise Mia. But let me cuss Mia. Mia Motley did this big speech about how it's great for Barbados that Roston Chase is captain, and it shows and it's testament to his drive and it's his integrity, and all of that could well be true. But I was reading it thinking, allow me though, innit? Allow me, because I get it. You want to do the Bayesian nationalism thing, so I can't really cuss per se because it's specific to Barbados. But I'm not looking at Roston Chase becoming West Indies captain as how great that is for Barbados. I'm just looking at it as what does that say for West Indies? And this is part of the problem for me. Not everything in West Indies cricket must be what does that say about my nation. Just focus on what does it say about West Indies. I don't care what your nation, I don't care what it says about the nation. If it was a Jamaican captain, I'm not expecting Bro God to make some big speech saying, oh, this is really good for Jamaica. And so, like, who cares? Who cares? What's it saying about West Indies, man? That's all I want to do.
If Puran make, like, somehow when a different universe make a test review and Cameron make a long speech about Puran, people in the region would cuss. People in the region would cuss. That's all I would say.
Well, it just to me, it was just it's a little thing, because some people will say, oh, Mash, you're making a big thing out of nothing, but it's a little thing which just reminded me that not everything has to be what does it say for my nation. This is part of the see, Ramel Watkins says tread carefully on the Bayesian thing, Mash. Yeah, I know. But all the while we look at West Indies cricket with an eye as to what does this say for me as a Trini, as a Guyanese, as a Jamaican, as a Bayesian, as a St. Lucian. Like, I just don't. Like, when Rovman got removed as West Indies captain, I didn't see that as no diss to Jamaica. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less what, like, all I cared about was it the right decision for West Indies, yes or no? I didn't care that he's a Jamaican captain. What's that got to do with me? I'm not supporting Jamaica in West Indies cricket. I'm supporting West Indies cricket. And I think this is part of the wider disconnect in the region.
Speaking on players and about what it says about their nation or whatnot, I remember someone in Discord that people like to ignore said, giving Samuel out of power caused problems. I was anti Josh Silva captain because I didn't think Josh Silva being captain, they would put him in the pits of hell to fight against Australia, India, and New Zealand. I wouldn't wish any good person I wouldn't wish anything on a 26-year-old to go through that stress. That'll mash up his career.
I hear you, okay, but then let me say this to you: what if Josh isn't even in the test squad against Australia?
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either. I don't think he is.
Which begs the question: the guy put the numbers in the regional 40. He did everything. Right? He's 26. He's young. Why he just got frozen out? Like, it's not me saying I want my Trinidadian white man in my squad. I don't care. Like, all them averaging 25, all them is not good. But I'm like, the man did
exactly what you told him to go and do.
Yeah, the man did exactly what you told him to do. He said, go and Trinidad, play your boat.
I'm staying quiet on it until I see the squad. But if I see the squad and Josh isn't in it, and this isn't about me defending Josh, the thing I will cuss about, and I will make it very loud when I cuss, is I will say, so why was he interviewed for West Indies captain? What was the purpose of that, unless you were playing politics and optics? by
Mm.
making it look like it was actually a process. If you knew when you were interviewing Josh, he's not even getting in my squad. What on earth was he getting interviewed for captain for?
He was wasting the man time at that point. Yeah.
But I'm going to stay quiet on it for now. I'm going to wait
Yeah.
to see, because for all I know, they're going to put him in the test squad and I must shut my mouth. So I'm just going to wait and see. But I will be very loud if that is the case. Listen, Fireball, I'm going to go to the next caller because I'm wary of the time.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, cool. No problem. Yes, people. It looks like actually there was more people in the background, but somebody must have gone out. It's one caller left. It's one caller left. Sean Paul. Oh, by the way, is anybody a trades person on here? A tradie. So earlier on when the tradesman was round my flat fixing the stuff they need to be fixing the bathroom, he dropped something. I didn't realize till he left, and he's broke it, like in the middle of a tile on my bathroom floor. There's now a crack in it, not like a hairline crack, but like an indent into the tile. So a tiny bit of chunk of it has come up. I'm not a hands guy. So what do I do now? What do I do now, people? Do I buy filler? Like who knows about this trade stuff? What do I do to fix the problem? I'm not bringing on the last caller till someone tells me what I'm supposed to do. And the dent must have dropped something heavy on it, because it's so the tile is on top of concrete. Yeah, so Declan, this is what my plan is at the moment. So my plan is to just put a rug over it in the bathroom, the bath mat, and just ignore it. Because obviously if water gets in it, it might mess up my foundations, right? So for now, I'm going to ignore it, but I actually need a plan. Yeah. So I get some kind of filler and pave it out. How long does filler take to dry, though? Once you put, what type of filler? What's the filler called? Filling? What type? How do you dry the filling though? Once you put the filling in it, Jaja. MJ says I'm looking for a mason. I'm looking for a mason, yes, because West Indies cricket can't help me, so I might as well come on the podcast and talk about home improvement. Silicone. Mishmi says I need silicone. Somebody send an email to Carib Cricket email and just send me a picture of what it is that I need to do, because I'm going Ireland on the weekend, and when I come back, so Damien says get that one tile changed. No, impossible, because the way they've done the tiling, I'm not paying the money for one tile to come out. No, what the hell is silicone anyway? Silicone. What the flipping hell is silicone? Let me look this up on my phone. You lot thought I was coming here to talk about West Indies cricket. This is the Home Improvement Podcast. Silicone. Let me look up on the phone right now what silicone is. Yes. Silicone. Oh, this, the white stuff. General purpose silicone. Oh, sealant. Oh, why don't you lot just say sealant? So just put that, spray the white thing on it and just make it just fill up. So Dre says the towel needs to be replaced. Yeah, long term, Dre, the towel needs to be replaced. But it's in the middle of the tile right now. I ain't got the money to replace that tile right now. Phenol seal. Hey, but do you know what? I had silicone, you know. Are you not talking about the baths? you lot actually think I'm going to talk about West Indies cricket? Are you talking about the bath silicone, the one that you put around the edges of the bath? Or are you talking about, is there a specific one for floors? Or is it all the same thing? Like, is it multi-purpose? So, and do you know what? I had silicone, and the tradesman teethed my silicone and left me with the silicone gun. I bought a silicone gun and the silicone, and the man teethed my silicone. When I went to look for my silicone later, it had gone. The man teethed my silicone, you know, and he teethed it before I could look for a rock stone to bust his head top. What is it about Jamaicans, by the way? Is it only Jamaicans? Is it only Jamaicans that look for rock stone, by the way? Can someone talk to me? Do other Caribbean nations look for rock stone when you're vexed with someone, or is it just specific to us as Jamaicans? Like, even when I'm vexed with someone out on the roads, my first instinct, if I'm vexed with someone on the streets, is to scan the street for a rock stone. Like, is that just inbuilt within me as a Jamaican, or is this something about people from the Caribbean that you look for a rock stone to bust a man's head? Right. Boy, let me go to the final caller. Final caller of the evening is going to be Sean Paul. Tommy says in the Caribbean we look for rocks, cutlass, knives, and a 2x4. I've never seen anyone in the Caribbean look for a 2x4 in a big passer. I've seen cutlass, yes. Actually, how many of you? This ain't a cricket podcast, though. This is an everything podcast. How many of you, when I was growing up, in fact, now let me shut my mouth because people will say that I'm talking too much. How many of you have parents or grandparents who slept with a cutlass underneath the mattress? Because I was telling my English friends this and they thought I was joking. I was like, yeah, you have a cutlass under the mattress because if a thief come in your yard, you never know who you might have to chop one time, or at least chase them away with a cutlass. Am I making that up? Or am I telling some urban myth? I swear the older generation slept with cutlass under the mattress. A man must. I'm not making that up, you know. Under the one mattress, a man is just fetching for a cutlass. Anyways, people, when I told my white English friends that story, they looked at me like the Caribbean wasn't a real place. But I was saying they're looking at me like I'm telling tales from the Caribbean, like it's flipping Captain whatever or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like I'm telling Pirates of the Caribbean or something. When I'm like, no, this is just normal settings. It's just normal settings to have a cutlass under the bed, not to kill a man, but just cause. Right. Okay. Right. Let me and last thing. But some of you lot, maybe this is more for the uncle generation, some people my age and older. When we moved to England, when everyone, what people in the live waiting for me to talk cricket. So my family moved to England when I was 4, and we moved to Birmingham in England. And so once upon a time, I had a Brummie accent, believe it or not. Until we moved to London. I think we moved to London when I was about 8 or something. And but every year after we got here, every year from the age of 4 to about the age of 16, we went back to Jamaica every single year. So this is why I'm still so fiercely Jamaican in my mindset, because every single summer we just went home for 6 weeks. And then when I got to 16, we moved back to Jamaica full time. And when my parents moved back home, because I said they'd had enough of England, so I went back home with them and did school in Jamaica from 16 to 18, big up Walmers. And why am I telling this story? Oh my God, I forgot why I was telling this story. Oh yeah. But every year when I went back, before going back full time, when we went up to country, so for those of you who aren't familiar with Jamaica, country meaning, I'm sure every Caribbean nation has its equivalent. So you have town, which would be like Kingston, and then you have country, right, which is going towards like, well, basically anywhere outside of Kingston and Spanish Town, really. But in my case, it meant going towards Manchester, which is like going to country in Jamaica. And whenever we had to go to country, someone tell me if this used to happen to you as a youngster. My auntie would stay at my auntie's house, and she would wake us up every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning to sing from the Sankey. Who knows about the Sankey? Tell me in the comments if you know about a Sankey. Is that so? I don't know about other Caribbean nations. Tell me if you know about a Sankey. Anyone know about a Sankey? 5 a.m. cuz every morning without fail. I'd try to snore my way through it, and my granny would just, not my granny, my auntie would just shove me and say, "Get up." No one don't know about the Sankey. Is this a Jamaican country thing? I can't be the only person who don't know about a Sankey. I'm probably saying the wrong word. So a Sankey, yeah, said Devo knows, yeah. A songbook. It's a songbook from church, right? So a Sankey, like, so you'd get up at 5 and we'd all go into her room, and then she'd put down a piece of devotion. You lot don't know about the 5 a.m. devotion. Who grew up in a house where you had the 5 a.m. devotion? You don't know about devotion? 5 a.m. every morning to about 5:30. She'd pick up the Daily Bread, read a passage from the Daily Bread. Then one of the youths, me for example, would then have to read the Bible, because the Daily Bread tells you which Bible reference you have to read from. So then I'd read the Bible reference. Then we'd sing from the Sankey. Who knows this one? How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, unto thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. You don't know about the 5 a.m. devotion. You don't know about them ones. Oh my God. And then check this. After that one now, my auntie would say, Machel, go clean the pig pen. The pig pen, cuz. Who knows about the pig pen? Who knows about the pig pen, cuz? You ever gone in a pig pen with the dirty pig poo? With the dirty pig poo, and you're cleaning out the pig pen with the shovel. Who knows about that one? Fam, my auntie had me in the pig pen, cuz. Jaja, pig looking at me like I'm some kind of wassy. In the pig pen with the boots, cleaning out the poo. Fam? So when people say to me, Mash is just a stink London man with his English attitude, you don't know about my country living in Jamaica. You really don't know about my lifestyle in Jamaica, what I went through up in country. Ah, boy. But them were the times still. Them were the times. Them were the real times, man. My auntie rang me, actually. She rang me on Wednesday from Yard to tell me congratulations for getting that VP job. But anyways, let's move, people. Let's end the show. Last caller of the day, which is Sean Paul, and then let's end the show. Yeah, for real. Ramel says we need to do a good old-fashioned Caribbean story show. And to be fair, Ramel, it's a good point, because those stories I was just telling was my experience growing up in Jamaica, but there will be equivalents for the other Caribbean there'll be equivalents for the other Caribbean nations. We're all very similar, but we'll all have our different subtleties. We'll all have our subtleties in how we do certain things within the region. It's like until I went to Trinidad, I didn't really know about doubles. I'd heard of them, but I didn't really know about doubles. I didn't know about the kind of nuances of doubles. So it's amazing how little we know about each other within the Caribbean, because of course we don't get to travel because of course it costs too much. Anyways, let's move people. Last caller. Sean Paul.
Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee.
I know you know the song, you know. I know you know it.
Yo, Jesus Christ, man. Those days were the nicest days. And a hot cup of cocoa tea.
Yes, yes. I used to have Ovaltine or Horlicks. Remember them ones?
Yeah, man. And that's from Jamaica, but in Antigua, we used to have it back in my days, so. Oh boy, Mash. I'm starting to bring back the heartbreaking vibes now, but 3 L's in one day. Well, 2 of them I was pleased with, though, because we went on trying, but the men's ODI team, oh God. I'm not going to touch that one. Congrats to Captain Haley Machel. Call out to all the men's team right now, please.
Every time she produces another century, more and more people will jump on the bandwagon of get Haley into the men's. Do you know what? It's got to a point with Haley where if she was called up to the men's team, I'm not even sure if many people would cuss. There'd be outrage, but I don't think actually many people would say that. The outrage would more be, is this what West Indies cricket has come to? But I don't think anyone would actually be like, I don't understand why she's there, if you see what I mean.
Question though, is there any rules in ICC barring a lady from playing on the men's team?
I asked this a few months ago. I believe there actually is a rule about it. I don't think it directly says a woman cannot play on a men's team, but there is some kind of rule where when you look at the interpretation of it, I think the implication is that a woman can't play on a men's team, but I can't remember how it's exactly worded.
Okay. Let me ask this question now. In terms of the A team selection for the South Africa series, why couldn't they have added 2 or 3 senior players like Hamilton, De Silva, or perhaps even a Kavem Hodge, just to give the young men
that's
exposure and
interesting.
leadership?
No, I agree with you on this. So the one thing that was missing from the A team for me was, I get it, they're going to say it's developmental and so on and so forth. But, okay, so someone like, let me see how old he is before I call his name, right? So, bear with me, because, so someone like Sunil Ambris, let's just use him, right? Yeah. So Sunil Ambris is 32 years old. He had unless I'm mistaken, I need to go back and look, but I think he was one of the top run scorers in the Super 50. So are we now saying that the A team is purely now for young developmental talent with no one experienced being? Because I think it has to be a bit of a mix. Yes, it can be developmental, but surely there's some older guys who should be on the cusp of a West Indies call up. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, because I was watching the game last night and I was saying this game is missing or lacking somebody like a Hamilton or De Silva in the squad itself on the field. But all in all, I have to congratulate some of the younger guys like Anderson, Savory, Cyrus, who could be a decent all-rounder in making.
Cyrus looked good. Cyrus
he bowled
looked good.
well.
Yeah.
He played some good shots, although he started to lash out at first as a cow lasher, but came into his groove. Then I saw Marquino Mini played a beautiful cover drive, which was like butter on toast. I was like, if they can play like this, why they were so rushing and eager to just beat off the runs, and they could basically go around the ball, just find the gaps.
Mm. So I mean, I'm the 18 one. I didn't really take as a bad defeat per se, because I think with the 18 one, you just have to pick out what you can pick out from it without. They didn't embarrass us.
No.
So I'm not. I wasn't. I saw it as like. So I saw it as an L, but I was like, yeah, but okay, there's some signs there, and I'll continue to think the same across the rest of the game. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kevlon got a 40,
45
Kevin
or so.
45. I think Wickham got a 39. Did someone else get 40 something?
I think Ashley's got about 30 something or 40.
Yeah. So.
Cyrus got in the 30s, I think, as well.
That's it, Cyrus at the back end. And then with the ball, I thought Cyrus was all right.
I think he actually was better than Hayden Walsh and Yannick Carrera.
Well, I want to believe that. I won't go so far as to say that just yet. Who was the Pacers? O'Shane,
he was horrible. Minley was good. Blades was good.
Blades, that's it. That's what I'm missing. Blades. Yeah, Blades was all right up front. I liked some of the shape he got up front, but we expect that. So yeah, we'll wait and see to see how they perform over the next two games as well, and see if we can. I think Kevlon Anderson, I'm starting to wonder if he's going to get into that test squad for Australia. You know, if he puts up a steady number of runs across the 18 games, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into that senior squad for the Australia series.
I think he will. But then again, anything is possible in West Indies, so I won't put my money on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point.
And
yeah.
Master, I'm going to let you go early so you can go back. Oh, wait, before I say that, I don't think Joel and Drew get a game on this tour.
Yeah, I agree. I
think he should have stayed home and been on this 18 tour itself.
So if I'm not mistaken, they've got Joel Andrew in the squad for the second
for England 18. As well.
No, but for the second 18 test, right?
Yeah.
So they've got him in the squad for that. But when we lost that first game to Ireland, the first thing that went through my head was, I don't think Joel's getting a game now. We'll see. But I will be now. I think Sammy's going to be saying we have to win the next two games against Ireland. So that means to me that he has to play his strongest side. So unless they go into the England games and say, oh, we can have at least one experimentation, but again, they'll want to win it for ranking points. So yeah, Joel may not get a game.
Nah. I know, Mash, thank you. I'll catch you in the next calling show. Go and finish up your work and have a good night's sleep.
No problem. Take care.
All right.
Thanks. That was sure, poor people. Right. Got to lock off the show. Thank you to everyone who was in the live today. Oh, there was was there? Did I miss something? Oh yeah, that's it. I starred this from Demo. Demo said, when I played for Mona under 16, I played versus Stefani Taylor. I heard she couldn't play under 19 Grace Shield, though it was too high a level. Now, just to clarify, Demo, because I think it's still in the chat, do you mean that she couldn't play under 19 Grace Shield because they wouldn't let her? Or do you mean that it was too good for her to play in? I just need to clarify what you meant by that. But again, the reason I put that comment up from Demo people is because it's yet more proof that players like Stefani, players like Hayley Matthews played amongst the boys when they were growing up. So when I talk about things like, I'll put Hayley in the men's team, I'm not saying it for the sake of just saying it. These players actually do and are familiar with playing against boys / men. So, but do you know what? Because Stefani's had so many injuries in the back end of her career, people have forgotten that at one point she was the actual Don in the West. People have forgotten about peak Stefani Taylor. You know, when the injuries hadn't plagued her, Stefani was as consistent as, I'm not saying necessarily banging out the hundreds like Hayley bangs out the hundreds, but don't forget what Stefani used to do. Stefani was top. At one point, she was our best player. Don't ever forget that, people, because I don't want people to remember Stefani Taylor as the current injury hit, like elder states player in the West Indies team. She was once world class in this thing. As an all-rounder as well. Before there was Hayley Matthews, Stefani Taylor was doing bits. And I just wonder if people have forgotten how good she was. But anyways, people, let's lock off this show. Thank you to everyone who came on the show. Thank you as ever. So the next time you lot will hear from me is in Ireland. I'm not doing a show tomorrow, and then Saturday I fly. So look out. Maybe look out for something on Saturday night, possibly. I'm going to catch up with anybody who's, I know Yannick's in Ireland, Rising Bowlers in Ireland, Rising Bowlers Dad's in Ireland. So I know there's some of the CCP, some of the CCP audience, a couple of the patrons are in Ireland. So I'll be linking with people for sure. So look out for some content. And then, of course, on Sunday itself, when I'm at the game, I'll make sure that loads of stuff is dropping. Anyways, people, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and see you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.